Greetings everyone, thank you for coming to my channel. In this video, you'll be learning about subordinating conjunctions. But before I get started, I just wanted to thank you guys for all of your love and support. Thank you for watching my videos, thank you for sharing my videos, and thank you for liking my videos. And the reason why I'm thanking you guys for watching my videos is because I realize you can be watching anyone else's videos, but you choose to watch mine. And I really appreciate that, and I hope I'm providing value with these videos. And I hope I continue to provide value with these videos. So, how are you guys doing today? What are you guys thankful for? Today, I'm thankful for, well, a few days ago I got strep throat. And I'm not thankful for that, but I'm thankful that it's coming to an end pretty early. So, a few days ago I got strep throat, and I hate having strep throat, but who likes having strep throat? So yeah, I was like, I gotta get rid of this. So I drank tea with a bunch of honey in it. It was lemon tea mixed with raspberry tea because I drank all of my throat coat tea and I didn't feel like getting more. So I had a bunch of tea mixed with honey. I took some Mucinex. I don't even know if I was supposed to be taking that, but I was desperate, so I still took some. I think it's supposed to soothe. It does multiple things, but I think it soothes. How do you soothe? That word is hard to pronounce. Soothes your throat as well. So I took some of that, and I also took, we'll use some throat spray. So the strep throat is going away, so I'm thankful for that. My voice does sound a little weird though, so I'm sorry. But yeah, guys, feel free to let me know how you're doing and let me know what you're thankful for. Okay, now let's get to the video. So what are subordinating conjunctions? Subordinating conjunctions are words or phrases that connect an incomplete thought, also known as a dependent clause, to a complete thought, independent clause. We use the acronym A White Bus to help us remember some common subordinating conjunctions. So you'll see multiple acronyms online that people use to help them remember subordinating conjunctions, but to me, a white bus is the simplest acronym. Also, there's a bunch of different types of subordinating conjunctions, but for the sake of this video, I just wanted to keep it simple so that you guys have a basic understanding of what subordinating conjunctions are. In other words, I didn't want to overwhelm you guys. So here's the acronym I just mentioned. The A stands for although, the W stands for when, the H stands for how, the I stands for if, the T stands for though, the E stands for even though, the B stands for because, the U stands for unless, and the S stands for since. So just a little background info. An independent clause is a complete thought. So our first example says, my shoes are red. So notice how we have the subject, which is shoes, and the verb, which is red. But just because there's a subject and a verb, that doesn't always mean it's a complete thought, because this could say, my shoes are. So there would still be a subject and there would still be a verb, but that doesn't mean it's a complete thought. Our second example says, I ate eggs for breakfast. This is a complete thought. The subject is I and the verb is ate. And our last example says, I work at the mall. So our subject is I and our verb is work. This is a complete thought. A dependent clause is an incomplete thought. So our first example says, when the time is right. So notice how there's a subject, which is time, and a verb, which is, but it's still an incomplete thought. Our second example says, because of your attitude. So one may ask, like, what does because of your attitude mean? Like, where's the rest of the sentence? And our last example says, although we're no longer friends. This is an incomplete thought. Sometimes the dependent clause can be at the beginning of the sentence, and when this happens, a comma needs to be placed after it. So our first example says, because of the snowstorm, school was canceled. Also, the subordinating conjunction in the first example is because, and this sentence can also be written as school was canceled because of the snowstorm. So you would just flip the clauses, or shall I say, you would just flip the sentences. Our second example says, until you get your act together, you won't be playing any video games. So the subordinating conjunction is until, and notice how the dependent clause, the incomplete thought, is at the beginning of the sentence. So that means we have to add a comma after this incomplete thought. And our third and final example says, even though we're no longer friends, I still care about you. So the subordinating conjunction is even though. And notice how the incomplete thought is even though we're no longer friends, and it's followed by a comma. Next, we have examples where the independent clause is at the beginning of the sentence, so a comma isn't needed. So our first example says, I won't be at basketball practice because I injured my leg yesterday. The subordinating conjunction is because. And notice how we didn't use a comma because the independent clause is at the beginning of the sentence. Independent clause also known as complete thought. We could also say, because I injured my leg yesterday, comma, I won't be at basketball practice. Our second example says, you're my best friend even though you make me mad sometimes. So the subordinating conjunction is even though, and notice how we didn't use a comma because the independent clause is at the beginning of the sentence, not the other way around. We could also say, even though you make me mad sometimes, comma, you're my best friend. And our third and final example says, I can't graduate until I pass my final exam. Our subordinating conjunction is until, and notice how it separates the independent clause, I can't graduate, from the dependent clause, I pass my final exam. And we could also say, until I pass my final exam, comma, I can't graduate. More examples with subordinating conjunctions. So our first example says, I would like to learn how to bake cookies. So our subordinating conjunction is how, and it connects the independent clause or complete thought, I would like to learn, with the dependent clause or incomplete thought, to bake cookies. Our second example says, I will buy you a drink if you braid my hair. So our subordinating conjunction is if, and it connects the independent clause, also known as complete thought, I will buy you a drink, to the dependent clause, also known as incomplete thought, you braid my hair. And our last example says, my legs have been long since I was a kid. So our subordinating conjunction is since, and it connects the independent clause, my legs have been long, to the dependent clause, I was a kid. That concludes our video. Thank you guys for coming. I hope you found this video informative. If you did find this video informative, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe, or all of the above, and I'll see you next time.